lights burn bright. You're blinded now, can't see the fight. Smoke and mirrors, they lead the way. Fooling hearts night after day. Welcome to the show, it's all pretend. The smiles, the lies, the perfect end. The world's a stage, they run the flow. You clap on cue down in the front row. Painted faces, masks of stone. A hollow laugh that chills the bone. Puppets dangle strings unseen. Life's a trick, a cruel machine. Do you see it?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Breaking the System. This is episode 48. The Memory War. Your brain is being rewritten. This is a show where we're going to deep dive into the workings of the mind, your brain, and the stories we tell ourselves about who we are. I'm your host, and today we're tackling something that might just mess with your head in the best possible way. We'll see. What if I told you that your memories aren't always like flawless video recordings of your life, and they're more like living stories, edited, updated, and sometimes completely rewritten every single time you pull them up? And what if the people, the platforms, and even the algorithms around you could quietly influence those edits that's being made? So stick with me. By the end of this episode, you might look at your own I remember like it was yesterday moments a little differently. So let's jump into it. Let's start with the basics, because this kind of blew my mind when I first learned it. Your brain doesn't store memories like files on a hard drive or clips on your phone. It's not a passive recorder. Instead, memories are reconstructed on the fly. They're pieced together from fragments every time you recall them. And this idea dates back decades, but one of the most influential voices in this is psychologist Elizabeth Loftus. And back in the 1970s and into the 1990s, she started challenging the idea that memory is fixed and reliable. Her work on the misinformation effect shows how easily post-events suggestions can distort what we think we remember. So what's the big revelation? Well, every time you remember something, you're not just pulling it up, you're rebuilding it. And in that rebuilding process, supposedly, it can change. So Loftus put it powerfully, our memories are malleable. And every time you remember something, you risk changing it. And that's not sci-fi, it's how the human brain actually works. So let's make this real with some jaw-dropping examples. One of Loftus's most famous studies is the Lost in the Mall experiment from 1995. This was kind of cool when I was reading this. She and her colleague, Jacqueline Pictrell, worked with 24 participants, and each person got a booklet with 4 childhood stories from their family. 3 true ones and 1 that was fake. And that as a kid, around the age of 5, these people got lost in a shopping mall, and they cried and were helped by an older woman before reuniting with their parents. And family members confirmed that this never happened. Over a couple of interviews, around 25% of the participants started recalling these false events with details, like how scared they felt or what the mall looked like. Some even added their own flourishes to it. And a 2023 replication with a bigger group, this time it was around 123 people, found similar or slightly higher rates. Around 35% developed false beliefs and false memories. Another fun or eerie one is the Mandela effect, right? And so, like, this one's kind of iffy for me, but we're going to jump into it anyways. So do you guys remember reading the children's books, the Berenstain Bears, with an A? And a ton of people swear it was called the Berenstain Bears with an E, but it's not. Or think about Nelson Mandela. Lots of folks remember him dying in prison in the 1980s, but he actually passed away in 2013 after serving as South America's president. So here's the twist that your brain loves to play. It tries to fill in gaps using logic, emotion, suggestion, or just whatever feels right. And coincidence? That doesn't equal accuracy. The more you rehearse or reinforce a memory, even a flawed one, the stronger and more real it feels. And so as Loftus's work shows, false memories can be as livid and emotional as true ones. Now let's bring it into the present day, because this is where things get really relevant for all of us. Social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and X aren't just feeding you content. They're repeating narratives over and over and over through the algorithms, through the feeds, through the shares. And so psychologists talk about the illusion truth effect. The more you hear or see something repeated, the more your brain treats it as it's true. And so in this case, repetition strengthens the neural pathways, and it blurs the line between I experienced this and I saw this 1,000,000 times online. And so studies show that exposure to the same fact or story repeatedly can make it feel like a personal memory. And one line of research even links heavy social media use to less precise recall of your own real-life events, because you're outsourcing the remembering to your phone and to your feeds. If you scroll past the same viral clip or the same meme or the same hot take 20 times, your brain might start feeling it or filing it away as something that you lived or that you deeply know or remember. And it's not unusually malice on purpose, but the effect is extremely powerful. And platforms control what gets repeated, and repetition rewrites the story in our heads. Now, this isn't true for everyone, but it's true for those 25 or those 35%. And when we look at that in society of 350 million people, that's a lot, right? So we have 350 million, and we're going to multiply that, boy, let's do the lower end of just 25%. So this roughly can affect 87.5 million people just of the United States, to where we're experiencing and we're living in false memories. Okay? That's a lot of people. So what about trauma and emotion and memory editing? So memory gets even trickier with emotions, or when emotions enter the picture, especially when we talk about trauma. Emotional events often feel blurred into our brains, right? Because research shows they're frequently less accurate than neutral ones. Stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline released during high arousal moments. Interact with the amygdala, that almond-shaped part of your brain that's tied to our emotions, right? This can enhance consolidation, making the memory stick, but it also distorts the encoding, and our details, the little details, get fragmented. And so the brain prioritizes the emotional core over precise facts. And later, when you reconstruct the story, maybe telling it to a friend or replaying it into your head, I tend to think of this as maybe you've had some type of traumatic event and you're explaining it to a police officer or a detective, right? You might not get all of the events or all of the details 100% correct, right? And so in doing this, you don't remember the raw event. You remember the last version that you told yourself, or the one influenced by how you or how it made you feel. And so Loftus and others have shown how suggestion can reshape even traumatic recollections. It's a reminder how intensity doesn't equal perfect fidelity. So it's just saying that the more emotional that memory is, the more problematic it is in recalling that memory later on, and you might get some of the details wrong or false or fake, right? And I've never really thought of it like that, but yeah, the traumatic ones, like maybe it wasn't a blue car, maybe it was green, or maybe it wasn't a rake that was on the ground, it was a shovel, or, little things like that. Maybe it wasn't a Saturday. Maybe it was a Friday afternoon. Okay? So let's fast forward to today. We're entering uncharted territory with AI, and we've talked about AI in a couple of our other segments on this show. And tools from companies like OpenAI and others can now generate hyper-realistic images and videos and voices. Remember, it only takes 3 seconds of your voice for some of these AI tools and programs to then be able to reproduce you in the video. And even simulated events, right? So deep fakes aren't just for pranks anymore, right? This can have real life repercussions that I don't think a lot of us have thought about. And so early studies are already showing that AI edited or AI generated content can implant false memories. And in one experiment, AI generated videos of edited images boosted false recognitions or recollections significantly, sometimes more than twice as much as controls, and increased confidence in those false memories as well. And another study found that deepfake clips of fake movie remakes led nearly half the participants to remember, right, the non-existential films as real, as reality. That's crazy. That's insane, right? It's actually pretty mind-blowing. And so what's the danger here, right? Like, it's AI, it's fake. Like, what's the danger? Well, in the future, and we're not talking like 20 years in the future. We're not even talking like 10 years in the future. We're talking if AI keeps growing exponentially as it has been, we're possibly talking in the next 2 to 5 years, if not even before that, right? So in the future, a convincing video of an event you quote unquote witnessed online, or even one tailored to you, right, based off the algorithm, might blend seamlessly into your personal history. You might swear you lived through something that was entirely fabricated. It's not about erasing memories. It's not. It's about influencing the reconstruction. And like we said a while ago, every single time that we try to remember, that our brain tries to put these pieces of the puzzle together for us, little details that could be potentially extremely important get changed, get altered, get fabricated, right? And so this is the memory war, putting it all together. Not some dramatic battle with memory wipes, but a quieter fight over how we construct reality individually. Not only individually, but cohesively as a society. It's about influencing the edits rather than deleting the file in your brain. And historically, governments and media have shaped collective memory through things like propaganda or selective storytelling, right? You guys seen the video clips where like you've got every different multimedia news station and they're all saying the exact same thing in the exact same way and using the exact same words, right? That's what we're talking about. That's propaganda. That's selective storytelling. And today it's platforms, it's algorithms, and increasingly AI that amplify certain narratives through repetition and personalization through our feeds, through Facebook and Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, through Snapchat and Instagram and all the others in between, right? Because they're personalized to us. So, who's the winners? And it's those who control what gets repeated, suggested, or visualized, right? And here's the hopeful part. Being aware, awareness is your best defense. Understanding that memory is reconstructive gives you the power to question things, to verify things, and to protect your own story, right? And that's one of the things that we wanted to do in making and designing this podcast was to do what? To question everything and to verify everything. Even if you hear it from here, if you hear it from me, if you listen to this podcast, question it. Absolutely. I want you to go out and to look stuff up. Google it. Right? Every single day. Google it. Don't just take things for face value. Double check the stories that's being told. Okay? Question every little narrative, every little story. Right? We have to do that. Unfortunately, we just have to. That's the day and age that we live in. Okay? So look, if your memories shape your identity, who you are, what you've learned, the person that you've ultimately became or become, right? It could change tomorrow. And those memories can be subtly edited by things like suggestion and repetition and emotion or technology. We really have to take a step back and ask ourselves, who are you? Who are you, really? What have you become? Are you really you? Am I really me? Right? Did I have a say in the person that I wanted to be? Well, we hope so, right? Don't we? And it's a very profound question and one that's worth sitting with and asking ourselves. Did you become the person that you wanted to be because of you? Or did you become the person you wanted to be because of your environment? And if it's your environment, did you choose your environment or did your environment choose you, right? It's that whole destiny type thing. Like, is the person that you are, were you destined to become that person? Or did you choose to become that person in the actions that you took? But in the actions that you took, your environment helped shape you and who you are and how you act and how you think, right? So it really is That is a very, very deep question. Who are you? And so before you go, here's a challenge for you, the listener. Think of a memory you're 100% sure about. Maybe a childhood event, a big life moment, or even something from last year. And now ask yourself, what if parts of it have been influenced by stories that you've heard, or videos that you've seen, or emotions that colored the retelling of it? And if it has been influenced, how do you even check? Like, how do you even know that the memories inside your head are yours? It's pretty wild, isn't it? It's pretty scary, right? So think about that. Pull up a memory, and what's scary is if what's true, by remembering those memories over and over and over and over, every time we remember that certain memory, something changes about it. So are we changing the past by thinking about it more in the future? Right? So this is like a really deep one, and this one, like, going down this rabbit hole really like just blew my mind, because the past changes the future, but yet the future can also change how we remember the past. And like, so I was just like just blown away with this whole thinking, right? And so like that's what I want for you. Like, I don't want to like blow your mind, but I really want you to start thinking about everything. Why are certain things happening, right? Why do you think the way that you think? Why do you like the color blue or red? Or why do you like to drive a certain car? Or why do you want to live in the country? And has those decisions been changed by some type of algorithm, or just by trying to remember what your favorite color is every time? Okay? So, just like last time, right? Drop your comments. Drop your thoughts. I'm very, very interested into who is watching the podcast, who is enthralled in the podcast, like who's sitting from start to finish, and who's answering the questions, because the theoretical questions is the whole reason that we're doing this. So drop your thoughts in the comments, right? Share it with us. It doesn't matter if you agree with me or not. In fact, I want you to disagree with me. I encourage you to disagree with me, right? That way we can have more dialogue, and we can disagree back and forth, and in some way along the way, maybe we'll start agreeing with each other, okay? So, what's one memory you're questioning right now? Drop that in the comment. And so with that, thanks for joining me in Breaking the System. If this episode has shifted how you think about your past, maybe hit subscribe, leave a review, share it with someone whose memories you trust. And until next time, stay curious, question everything, and remember, your brain is rewriting itself right now. I hope I've blown your mind. Take care. We'll see you guys next time.